I'm going to share with you the one brutal truth I wish I knew about men in my 30s. This one thing could save you years of being in situationships and getting strung along by guys, which we all know you no longer have time for in your 30s. When you, as a woman over 30, understand this one brutal truth about men over 30, you'll find your one special man faster and keep him around effortlessly. First, there's something you need to understand about men. If you don't understand this, then you'll only get strung along even longer by men who aren't serious about you. And who has time for that in their 30s? When a man meets you, he very quickly places you, yes you, and every other woman he meets and dates into one of two baskets. The one and only basket or the one of many basket. Most women easily fall into the one of many basket. It takes nothing but one, being a woman, two, a willingness to seek attention from men, and three, a willingness to offer sex. When you're a woman in the one of many basket, you only ever get crumbs from men. As the one of many, you get crumbs of attention, crumbs of commitment, plus the debilitating anxiety of constantly wondering whether he's ever going to fall in love with you and commit to you long term. Are things starting to make sense to you? I hope so. Look, a lot of women actually do very well being the one of many. They date a rich man, get some of his money along the way, accept some cash in return for a better lifestyle, but they never get to the status of the one and only. So what is the one and only basket exactly? It's the basket men place you in where you receive not just crumbs from men, but everything he's got. Everything and more. When you're in the one and only basket, men stop putting in the bare minimum effort just to keep you around. They go above and beyond for you and for no other woman. I mean, it's laughable to even suggest that they do for their one of many what they would do for their one and only, because they are deeply emotionally committed to their one and only, and of course, in love with her. So here's the one truth I wish I knew about men in my 30s. A lot of men have already met, found, or been in a long-term relationship with their one and only by the time they hit age 30. So unless you're comfortable dating an 18 to 25-year-old man, this is the reality you have to deal with. And honestly, when you have the right insights and tools, this is not at all a negative reality, because you get to work things to your own advantage. But what does all of this mean for you? This means that when you go out into the dating market, you'll often be dealing with either divorced men who still have an attachment to their ex and still want to provide for her and be there for her, or you'll be dealing with men who seemingly are only really interested in dating you as their one of many because they've already had that experience of being with their one and only. And that experience is extremely rare in a man's life. Now, this doesn't mean a man can't meet his one and only, i.e. you, again. It just means that you have to be conscious about showing up as the one and only. Oh, and it's impossible for psychopaths and men with a truly avoidant attachment style to see you as their one and only, because they don't fall in love. And if they do happen to fall in love, then they're not truly avoidantly attached. They were just avoiding attaching to all the women up until now. So why am I sharing this one brutal truth with you? Is it because I want you to lose all hope in dating or give up completely in your 30s, 40s, and 50s? Nope, not at all. It's because I want to warn you of one thing. As a woman in her 30s and beyond, it becomes even more important to consciously show up as the one and only and to be placed in that basket by men. Because as you get into your 30s, 40s, and beyond, it gets harder to ever get an emotional commitment from a man if you aren't placed in the one and only basket right from the start. Because if you're not the one and only, men will want to reminisce about that one girl from their past. These all ultimately steal his attention away from you. And I've seen this happen over and over again in my 15 years. But there is hope. Way more hope than you would ever think, actually. There is a way around this, and I'm about to share it with you. The only way around this is to do the following two things. Number one, remember that his experience of having the one and only is now in the past. Number two, give him an even better experience of falling in love with you and seeing you as his one and only. Because if all you can inspire in the men you date is to place you in the one of many basket, then you'll never get that feeling of safety and security that I know you so deeply crave. And I know and you know that that's exactly what you deserve. So the next question is, how do you do it? How do you ensure that you are always placed in the one and only basket? Well, you have to show up as the one and only, of course, but also realize that although you have great influence over which basket you are placed in by men, and I really do mean great influence, you must understand that you don't have full control, because you can't control other people. You can only control how you show up. So please don't beat yourself up or feel bad when you seem to, again, just be treated as a hookup. Understand that this is an integral part of your learning process and your growth process. Now, here's another thing I want you to know. Know that in order to be the one and only, you must build emotional attraction and emotional connection first and foremost. You see, simply saying to the men that you date, you're only looking for something serious, or don't waste my time, I only want something long term, is not going to cut it. That's not going to give you the opportunity to be placed in the one and only basket. And by the way, responding to men's sexual innuendos with resentment may also accelerate your trip towards the one of many basket. Yes, even men who use sexual innuendos are capable of having a one and only woman in their life, even if you assume they aren't. So here's what I want you to do. Instead of resenting what men can't seem to do for you to give you the longer end of the stick up front, try to respect that at the end of the day, they are men. They're not bigger, stronger, faster, or hairier women. They have different reproductive agendas to you and I. Your job is to work with the differences and dance with them with emotional attraction and emotional connection in mind. Because remember, you can't change men. You can't make men suddenly start producing eggs like you and I. Unless, of course, you subscribe to the belief that men can bear children too. I have no comment on that. So here's what you need to do. Understand that you can't change the fact that you have a different reproductive agenda to men, but you can respect it and always focus on building emotional attraction with men. And to do that, we don't lead with sex in our interactions with men. We don't lead with how desirable you are or how desired you want to feel by a man. We also don't lead with your desire to seek approval from him first. Instead, focus on emotional attraction by leading with playfulness. By the way, this is also how you repel the toxic players and attract the men who truly want to emotionally attune to you, because players will never go deeper with you in an authentic way. So how do you lead with playfulness in dating? Well, quite literally, you learn to embody playfulness, which is an art. So let me help you get the ball rolling. Here's an example of playfulness encapsulated in words in a text message or the spoken word in real life. You say, "Do you know what I love about you?" He says, "What?" You say, "Absolutely nothing." And of course, you insert a playful emoji after that. Remember, our goal is to play here, not to insult someone. We are trying to build emotional connection and emotional attraction, right? Now, if you're naturally a more toxic woman, obviously this is going to be harder to accomplish. It's hard to be playful when you have toxic habits. But we all start somewhere, right? If you're used to playfulness, you'll pull off this line a lot more easily. If you're not used to playfulness, when is now a good time to start? If you want more examples of leading with playfulness through text message and in person, you can use what my husband and I call the dark feminine art of high value banter. Go take our free high value banter class, which is run by my husband, at highvaluebanter.com. Now, if you want to make the process of being placed in the one and only basket an effortless and easy process, listen up. There are 5 feminine secrets to have your chosen man fall in love with you and beg you to be his one and only, even if he's been distant, even if he's been losing interest, and all the secrets are inside of my course, Becoming His One and Only. Discover more about becoming his one and only by going to reneeslinks.com. So tell me, in your last relationship, were you the one and only or the one of many? Have a think about it and let's get to the bottom of this in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper with me, then I've got over 300 articles on thefemininewoman.com That's my blog, and since 2009, I've written about almost every dating topic you could possibly imagine, and also for longer term relationships as well. So if you want a deeper dive, if you want to learn even more and get the right tools that actually work in your love life, just Google the feminine woman. Here's to you always being in the one and only basket and finding the commitment process easy and effortless. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It really helps me out so that I can keep making videos to help you. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, look at this book. 3 magical words to get the ring effortlessly fast. Click the link in the description or go to 3magicalwords.com. We've had so many women go through this book and they absolutely loved it. I promise you will too.